So let's go ahead and get ready to start. Make sure that you're standing up nice and tall. Shoulders are back and down, right? Abs are in nice and tight. And let's tap back and pull the arms back. And remember, if it's uncomfortable or difficult for you to do both of these at the same time, then you can do one and then the other, or even alternate arms, leg, arms, leg. So however it works for you, this is just the warm up. So we just want to get moving a little bit. Good. All right, now, see if you can just tap your toes forward, bring your arms here and go in and out, and in and out. And if it doesn't work with them up here, bring them down a little bit lower. Right up. Flex those biceps. Let's see them, everyone. Good. 3, 2, 1. Let's go side to side, arms and legs. Good. So remember, abs and tight, protect your low back. As we warm up, if you want to bend your knees a little bit in the middle and sit down a little, that works too. Just remember, when we're sitting down, we want to sit back into our heels a little bit so we're not putting all the weight in our knees. Right? And then see if you can come forward for a step or two and go back for a step or two and forward and back and forward and back and forward and back. Good. Forward and back. Good. And back. Let's just go forward and back one more time. And back. Good. All right, and march. Right, good. All right, now we're gonna alternate sides. We're gonna step forward and punch. So step and punch, 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 step and punch. So we're just punching straight out. But try to feel this in the back of your shoulder. Maybe not, you don't necessarily have to go quite as fast as I am. Find a pace, find a rhythm that works for you. Good. So we're going to switch to a touch out to the side and then an uppercut. So we're going to go here, 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 here. So notice I'm turning a little bit. So if you can turn, great. If it's not comfortable for you to turn, then don't turn. Right? Abs in tight. We're still warming up, so we don't want to be killing ourselves right off the bat. Do try to make sure, though, that the abs are in tight. 4, 3, 2. Let's march again. Good. March your feet out wide. March back in. Good. March out wide. And march back in. And march out wide. And march back in. And march out wide. March back in. One more time. Let's march out wide. And march back in. And we're going to do biceps curls with the knee up. So nice and slow. If you need to, put a hand on the chair. Remember, the knee doesn't necessarily have to go up as high as mine, but just make sure when you put your foot down that your feet are apart, because that's going to help to make you a little more stable. Elbows stay down so they're under the shoulders. Up, down. Abs are in tight. Up, down, up, down. And remember, it's fun. Good. Let's do 2 more. So 1 and 2, and feet apart, and bring the hands up here, and turn, 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 either heel or knee lift. Turn, 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 heel or knee lift. So really try to rotate from the waist, and then either the heel comes up or the knee, whichever you're more comfortable with. Abs are in tight. Up, turn, turn, turn. Up, turn, turn, turn. Up, 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 up. Good, let's do each side one more time. Good job, lower your arms down. Maybe roll your shoulders back a time or 2. Shake out your arms a little bit. I'm gonna grab a quick drink, then we're gonna get right into a little bit of balance work. Okay, so let's see what we can do about balancing with our eyes closed. Put your hand on the chair or the wall, the railing, whatever you need. Just remember, we want that hand to be relatively light, not a really tight grip. And then either feet touching, one foot halfway in front of the other, or heel toe. Now, if you don't do heel toe with your eyes open, I don't recommend starting it with your eyes closed, right? So we want to push ourselves, but within reason. Okay, so find your position. If you're in position 2 or 3, make sure there's hips are forward, so there's some weight in the front leg and not just the back leg. Up tall, abs in tight, and let's close our eyes and hold here. Right, try to keep your balance. Remember, that's what the chair or the wall are for. And 3, 2, 1, open your eyes. Good, step your feet apart. Shake out your legs a little bit. So that was about 20 seconds with the eyes closed. Okay, so shake them out a little bit. And then let's go ahead and switch legs or switch sides. Or if your feet were side by side, we're doing it again. Okay, so stand up nice and tall, relax your shoulders, abs in tight. Try to make sure your toes aren't gripping too tightly, right? And 3, 2, 1, close your eyes. Make sure there's a little bit of weight in the leg that's in front, if you have a leg in front. And breathe. Good job. Open your eyes and step your feet apart. Good work. Shake them out a little bit. Okay, so we're going to do that same balancing movement, but with our eyes open this time. So if your feet were together with your eyes closed, see if you can do one foot halfway in front of the other. And if your feet were already like that, then see if you can stand heel toe. And if you're standing heel toe last time, then you're still there. Okay, so up tall, relax your shoulders, abs in tight, put your hands wherever they're more comfortable, but try not to use the chair or the wall unless you have to. Right, try to find that non-moving focal point. And let's turn our head slowly, look over the left shoulder. And breathe. Good. And slowly bring your head back forward. and slowly turn and look over the right shoulder. And slowly turn your head forward. Good work. Step your feet apart. Shake out your legs a little bit. Good job. And of course, we have to do the other side, right? So let's switch legs. So the leg that was behind is now in front, right? Make sure you're up tall, relaxing the shoulders, chin is tucked down slightly, looking straight ahead at something that's not moving. Relax your toes, abs in tight. Breathe. Slowly turn your head, look over your right shoulder. Keep breathing. Good, and slowly look center. Good, and slowly turn, look over your left shoulder. Up tall, make sure that your hips are forward a little bit so there's some weight in the front leg. Good job, and turn your head back center. Good, and step your feet apart. Grab onto your chair or use the wall and just pick a leg, swing it forward and back, maybe just 3 or 4 times. Right, and then we'll switch to the other leg. Good, okay, and then grab your tube or your band if you have one. If not, then just use your body weight or light weights. Actually, we're going to start with it behind us today. And we're going to shorten it up. Right? And hands at about chest level. Right? Feet, nice wide stance. So we're nice and supported. And we're going to push forward, pull back. Push forward, pull back. So it should feel like you're having to apply some pressure, but we want those arms to be straight. When they come in, try not to push them against you, but make them be independent. And of course, we have to grip a little bit, but we want to grip as loosely as we can. We have 4 more. 4, 3, 2, last one. Good job. Lower the arms down, roll your shoulders back a time or 2. Okay, good. And then we're going to bring it back up. We're going to push the arms out to the sides, and then we're going to cross in front. Cross in front. Try to alternate which arm goes on top. Cross. Cross. Make sure your knees are not locked if you're standing. Little softness in the knees. The elbows can bend a little bit. And really squeeze out and cross. Squeeze out and cross. Squeeze out and cross. And feel this right where the arms join the torso. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, good job. Lower your arms down. And again, try to just roll your shoulders back. Woohoo. I don't know about you, but I felt that one. Okay, now I'm going to take it back in front of me. I'm going to really shorten it up. And let's see. I'm going to do my left arm first. So I'm holding the longer part in my right hand, and my right hand is right here on the front of my shoulder. And then my left elbow's coming up with my palm facing my body. And I'm going to go out and in. Try to keep that elbow up, the left elbow that is, out and in. And that left elbow is aligned with the rest of your body. So as the arm extends, you can't see it. In a perfect world. Shoulders are staying down. 4, 3, try to really extend that arm. 2, last one. Good job, lower down, roll that shoulder forward, roll it back. Ooh, shake it out a little bit, and then you guessed it, we're gonna switch sides. So you may have to make a little adjustment because both sides are not necessarily equally strong, right? So the left shoulder is down, the left hand is in the front of your chest with the elbow down, and the right shoulder is down, but the right elbow is up. Okay, right hand faces the front of your body, and then the arm goes out and back in. Out, and that arm again is in line with your shoulder. So when you're extending it, you can't see it. Try not to let that elbow drop down or come forward. Which is not so easy. 2 more. Good job. Lower the arms down. And again, roll that shoulder forward. Roll it back. Good work. Okay, now we're going to take one end and we're going to drop it down on the floor so that we can step on it with the right foot. And we're going to use the left arm first. So left arm is down by our sides. And my band, my tube is really loose because when it comes up here, it's going to get tighter. Okay, so abs are in tight, right? And we're going to go up and down. And I'm stepping on that tube with the ball of my foot so that I can keep weight on it so it doesn't slide out, right? Abs are in really tight. The arm comes up, but the shoulder for the most part stays down. The shoulder might come up a little bit, but it goes nowhere near your ear. We have 4 more. You can do it. 4, 3, 2, last one. Good job, everyone. Roll that shoulder forward, roll it back, and let's switch sides. You knew that was coming, right? So step on it with the left foot, hold the handle in the right hand, and here we go. Up, down, up, down. Abs are in tight. Five, 4, 3, 2, last one. Good job. Roll that shoulder forward, roll it back. Good work. All right, now we're going to get the chair and we are going to sit down and stand up. Woohoo! All right, so if you want to use weights for these, go ahead and grab them. Right, and remember, if you're sitting, the weights will go out towards your knees and you're going to alternate picking your knee up as high as you can without leaning back. Okay, and if you're not sitting or if you're not staying sitting, arms can be down by your sides or the weights can go up on your shoulders. You want to make sure that you're out toward the front edge of the chair, right? Abs are in really tight and you're sitting up tall. And here we go. Up and down lightly. Up and down lightly. 3. Good. 4. Try to make sure that you're standing all the way up. And when you sit, you're sitting up tall, not leaning forward. Now, of course, if you need to lean forward to get up, then that's fine. But just make sure that you're sitting up tall before you start and when you're done. Sit as lightly as you can. Let's try for 2 more. Good job. And sit down. If you're using weights, set them aside. Pick a knee, bring it into your chest, and you can hold either just in front of your knee, or just below the knee, or just behind it. And breathe. And let's release and switch legs. Good work. Okay, now we're gonna stand up again, grab a quick drink. And let's go back to that tuber band. Right, we're gonna bring it back behind us again. Okay, so we're gonna shorten it up a little bit and we're gonna be using the arms and the legs. So even if you're sitting, right, when you go up, see if you can bring your foot forward. Okay, so let's start with the right side. So we're gonna do 8 on the right side, 8 on the left side, and then we're gonna alternate. Well, we're gonna switch sides anyway. Right, so abs are in tight. Make sure that tuber band is shortened if you're using it. Okay, and here we go, right. So up, 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 up. 2 more, up, and then we switch and go left. Up, 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 up. Find your own rhythm. This is 8, switch and go right, up, up. Try to get that arm to extend. Last one, and left. Really push that arm. Last one, back to the right, just 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now push across in front. Go right, cross in front, cross in front, cross in front. Now for this one, if you wanted to pick your foot up, that's fine, but don't feel like you need to. 2 more, abs are in tight, and left. Cross in front, cross in front, cross in front. 2 more. Good work, back to the right. Remember, if you need to leave that foot on the floor, then do. 4, 3, 2, back to the left, 8, 7, 6, 5. Make sure you're breathing. 4, 3, 2, 6 to the right. 6, 5, 4. Maybe your breathing is accelerating a little bit. That's fine. And left. 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's alternate. Right, left, right, left. Try to really get those arms to extend. Right, left, right, left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, everyone. Lower your arms down. Roll your shoulders forward. Roll them back. Whew. Good job. Shake them out a little bit. All right. Now we're going to step on the tube and we're going to do some shoulder blade pinches. So make sure it feels even on both sides. Make an X. Switch the handles. Take your feet apart wide enough so you're really pulling it tight and the hands go on the front of your legs. And if you're using weights, then of course the hands just go on the front of the legs. Right? And then pinch back. Pinch back. So of course, abs are in tight, upper body is up tall. Think about tucking your tush under a little bit so you're not arching the low back. Pinch. And we're pinching the shoulder blades. But what we're not doing is leaning back, right? So we're staying upright and just pinching the shoulder blades. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Lower the arms down. Even bring the feet a little bit closer together. You can actually undo your X and then roll your shoulders a little bit as best you can, holding onto the tube, right? And then let's take and shorten that a little bit, feet apart. If you want to stand in front of your chair, then by all means do. Abs are in tight, shoulders back and down. Remember, we're keeping the chin down. So as we come forward, we're looking down at the floor, not out in front of us. So here we go. And push the hips back, push back into your heels and slowly up and squeeze your tush at the top. And then push back and up. So try not to let your hands move any more than maybe an inch. And push back and stand up. And push back and stand up. And push back and up and really squeeze your tush. And push back and up and squeeze the tush. And we're keeping the spine nice and long. The abs are in tight. And we're inhaling on the way back up. And squeeze at the top. Push back, squeeze up at the top. Push back. Feel this in the backs of your legs and your tush. Maybe even into your low back a little bit. And probably your upper back too. 2 more times, you can do it. Good, and 1 more time. Good work, everyone. All right, let that tube or band come out full length. Whew. Shake out your hands a little bit. My hands have to hold pretty tight to keep that there so they get a little red. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of side stepping. So I'm going to put the X back in, but my feet are staying together, right? And I'm pulling the handles or the ends toward the sides of my hips. And we're just going to alternate today. So we're going to go out to the right and back in, then out to the left and back in. So right and in, and left and in. Remember, we want the toes to stay pointing forward, and we really want to step to the side and not to the front, not to the back. Right? We want the shoulders to stay over the hips so we're not leaning. Out and in, out and in, and try to really step deliberately, not too fast. So we feel it. Shoulders are down, out, in. If they start to get really tired, you can let your arms come down a little bit further, but just feel like they're still moving, still working. Woo, feel this in that outer hip. Feels great. Let's see if we can do each one twice more. So right and in and left and in and right and in and left and in. Good job, everyone. All right. Extend your arms. If you have an X, undo it. You can move forward a little bit. Okay, and then we're gonna work the sides of the waist. So we're gonna shorten up that tube or band again if you have one. And the feet are just a few inches apart. And we're breathing. And today we're gonna start to the left and we're gonna do all the reps to the left and then we'll go to the right. Okay, so shoulders are back and down, abs are in tight. Here we go. Left and center, left and center. So I always find that the first 2 or 3 are a little bit stiffer, a little bit tighter. And then my muscles start to say, oh, all right, fine, we'll do it. But the ones on the right side have to be willing to elongate too. Make sure the abs are in really tight and the shoulders are staying down and back. Yeah, so feel it in your left side. Four, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Pause in the center. Reset. Shoulders back and down. Abs are in tight. Here we go. Right. Down, up, down, up. It's the side of the waist that's bending, and that's what's bringing us down. We're not just dropping the shoulder or lowering the head to the right. Both knees are staying straight. Both feet are staying flat. And don't forget to breathe. Periodically, you might want to try to renew that contraction in the abdominal muscles. Four, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Whew. All right. Last thing with the tube or the band, right? We're going to step the feet wider apart, bring the hands behind us. If you have a handle, bring it up across your palms so it's not on your fingers, and press back. Press back. So try to keep your arms behind you. Right? If they don't want to stay back there, bring your feet a little bit closer together maybe. But you're going to feel it in your triceps a lot faster if you can keep your arms back. Woo. Feel it in the backs of your shoulders a little bit as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work, everyone. Come on off the tube or band. Set it aside. Whew. Loosen up a little bit. Remember, we like the muscles to work, but we don't like them to get too tight. I'm going to grab another drink. Okay, now we're going to come back behind the chair and we're going to start with some heel raises, right? So Fingertips are light on the chair, abs and tight. We're going to lift those heels up. We want to try to keep the body in a straight line, and we're going to lower down slowly. And then lift up, lower down slowly. So there's a little bit of a tendency when we lift up to come in toward the chair. And then when we lower down to kind of go like this. Try to keep everything nice and straight. So up and down slowly. And up and down slowly. And up and down slowly. And up and down slowly. So what helps me to keep my hips under me is contracting my abdominal muscles. And up and down slowly. And up and down slowly. Let's try 3 more. Up and down slowly. 2 and down slowly. Last one. And down slowly. Good. Now, take one heel out in front of you. Doesn't matter which one. Try to pull your toes up toward your shin and just push back a little bit and feel that stretch in your calf. There's a lot of different ways to stretch the calf muscles. So if you know one that works better for you than this one, then by all means do it. And you can do this seated as well as standing. If you're sitting, you do need to be out toward the front edge of the chair. Good. And then let's stand up and we'll switch legs. Push the other heel forward. Toes up. That knee needs to stay straight. The other knee can bend. Good, but just feel the stretch in your calf muscle. Good work. And come up, and we're going to turn toward the chair again. So we're going to go from the calf to the hamstring. This time we have to do one leg at a time. So we're going to take, I'm taking my right leg back first, right? And my right leg is behind my left leg a little bit. And I'm going to go heel up, down, up. I'm standing up tall. I'm trying not to lean forward. My hands are light on the chair. My right knee is staying behind my left knee. I'm bringing that heel up as high as I can, keeping the knee back. Abs are in tight. Oh, and I'm breathing. 3, feel it here. 2, last time. Woo, good job. Shake them out a little bit. Maybe even do a few leg swings forward and back, because of course the leg that we're standing on is working too. And then we're going to come back behind the chair, and same thing on the other leg. So stay up nice and tall, abs in tight, and heel goes up, down, up, down, up, down. Try to keep the knee back and breathe. Four more, you can do it. Last one. Good job. Step behind the chair a little bit. Push your hips back. Feel that stretch right in here. Try to keep your knees straight. If you're sitting, come out toward the front of the chair. Hold on to the sides of the chair and extend your legs out in front of you, heels down and toes up. And you should feel the same thing. Good. And inhale, back up again. Okay, now last leg exercise for now, right? So now we're gonna work this part. So I'm gonna take the right leg back again, and this time I'm gonna squeeze here. And if my foot comes off the floor, great. But if it doesn't, I'm not stressing over it, because this is still squeezing. Squeeze, squeeze, and you can feel it squeezing. Right, try to stay up tall, abs in tight. Three, two, one. Good job. Ooh, shake them out a little bit. Right, kind of tuck under a little if you can, and then take the other leg back. Try to keep that knee as straight as you can and pinch up. Try not to lean on the chair. And that foot, when it lands on the floor, it's light. It's not just dropping down. You're not breaking your toes. Abs in tight, protecting the low back. And you may feel this some in the low back. 3, 2, 1. Good job. Step a little bit back away from the chair, feet apart a little bit. Push back into your hips, into your heels, and bring your chest down toward the floor. Great, so arms are bent and elbows point down toward the floor rather than out to the sides, because that's less strain on the shoulders. Good job, and slowly inhale up. All right, we're gonna leave our legs alone except to stand on them. And we're gonna move into another set of pinches for the back. Okay, so pick up the weights that you would normally use for those. Remember, you want them to be kind of heavy. Right, so we're gonna hold the arms down by our sides. Right, abs are in tight. We're standing up nice and tall. We're gonna pinch the shoulder blades together. Try to just pinch your shoulders back. Pinch your shoulders back. Pinch back. Pinch back. Pinch back. Pinch back. Try to really feel the shoulder blades squeezing together. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Now see if you can just set those weights down and then stand up again. Roll your shoulders forward a few times. Roll them back a few times. And then we're going to pick up just one of those weights and we're going to work the sides of the waist again. Okay, so we're going to work the left side of the waist. We're holding the weight in the right hand. Left arm is by your side, fingertips on your left shoulder or behind your left ear. Feet are pretty close together, a couple of inches between them maybe. Pull those abs in tight and here we go. Down, up, down. Left elbows pulling down toward the floor. Remember, on this one, it's really tempting to let that right heel come off the floor, but don't, because then the muscles on the left side won't have to work as hard. And we want them to work hard, right? So the knees stay straight, both feet stay flat. Shoulders down. Ooh, abs in tight. Breathe. Good. How about 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. If you want to put the weight down to stretch, that's fine. If not, reach the arm up, push the hips over to the left and flex over to the right. Again, the knees are staying straight, the feet are staying flat. That weight in my right hand is pulling me into the stretch a little deeper. But remember, if it doesn't feel good to you, then don't do it. Good. And inhale up. Good work. Let's switch sides. So remember, the arm can be down by your side, the fingertips on your shoulder or behind your ear, right? As light a grip on that weight as you can have without feeling like you're going to drop it. Abs in tight, and let's go. Down, up, down, up, down, up. And breathe, keep those abs in tight. Periodically, I have to think about pulling them back in because they don't stay in by themselves, which is rude, however. 3, 2, last one, put the weight down if you prefer to stretch. And then everyone reach the arm up, push the hips over to the right and flex over to the left. If you're using the weight, let it pull you into the stretch a little more deeply, but it should always feel like a stretch. And it shouldn't feel like it's pinching or straining, unless of course the stretch is a strain, which of course it is most of the time. Good. Big inhalation and lift back up. Good work. All right. I'm going to set these weights aside and we're going to get weights. Yeah, let's get weights and do some biceps curls. We don't want to forget about our biceps. Okay, so let's grab those weights. Good. Okay, so the other day, we did them a little bit slower, remember? Today we're gonna do them a little bit differently even than that. So we're gonna go up and then down slowly. Okay, so try to really control that. So think up for a single count and down for like 2 to 3 counts. Okay, so here we go. Up, down, good. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Remember, quality over quantity. These are a little bit harder. Up, make sure that those arms are really extending and that they're not doing this. Okay, so up and all the way down and up and all the way down. And when they get tired, the up even takes a little bit longer. Up. Let's do one more time, right? Up and down. Good job. Set these weights aside. Woo. You know what? Grab your stick or your rod or your pole, whatever you got. Okay, and hands out nice and wide, and let's go up and down, up and down. So we want the elbows to stay extended because when the elbows bend, then the muscles we're trying to stretch here don't really stretch. So even if you don't have anything in your hands, just bring your arms out into like a V and try to straighten your elbows. Let's do one more. Good job. So you should have felt that like right in here. Okay, now narrow your grip and turn your palms up, right? So like this, and we want to try to keep the elbows as close to 90 degrees as we can. See if you can pull your elbows back a little and then push up, pull back, push up. When we push up, we're trying to keep the elbows pointing forward. Now that's easier said than done a lot of the times. So if your hands are too wide apart, the elbows won't go forward. So just make sure that your hands are about shoulder distance apart, right? And we want those elbows ideally to come up higher than the shoulders. Notice I said ideally. Good. And then we're pulling back. We're not straightening at the bottom. We're just pulling back. How about 2 more? 2, 1. Good work, everyone. Let's go ahead and set that down. And then we're going to get some weights and we're going to work the triceps one more time and the backs of the shoulders. So here's what we're going to do, right? So we're going to bring the weights behind us and we're going to go out and in and up and down. So when you go out and in, if they touch, great. If they don't, that's fine. Up and down. So out and in, up and down. Out and in, up and down. Out. So we want them to stay behind us. Out and in, up and down. Out and in, up and down. And notice how small the movement is. It's not very big. Try to keep your grip as relaxed as you can. Feel it in the backs of the shoulders as well as the triceps. Try to stay up tall. Woohoo! Good. How about one more time? So out, in, up, down. Ooh, good job. I don't know about you, but I felt those. Set the weights down. Roll your shoulders forward again. Roll them back. And let's stretch, excuse me, stretch out your triceps. So bring one arm up and over. Give yourselves a little pat on the back. And then either push that elbow back or grab it and pull it like you're going to pull it behind your head. Try to keep your head up high. That's it. And breathe. Now we're holding these for 30 seconds. Good job. Okay, and let's slowly release and roll your shoulders forward a time or two. Roll them back a time or two. And then let's do the other side. So arm up, give yourselves another little pat on the back, and then either push that elbow back or hold the elbow and pull it down. Good. Few more seconds. Good. Lower the arms back down. And one more time, roll them forward. Roll them back. Now I want to do a little stretch for the back of the shoulder. So we're going to start with the left arm. So pull the left arm just up in front of you a little bit. Put your right hand across the back of your wrist, like where your watch would go, or maybe your watch is there. The tricky thing about this is the shoulder always wants to come up. So push the shoulder down and then pull that arm across in front of you and feel the pull back here in the back of your shoulder. So try not to rotate too much. Like I've turned a little bit, but not too much. And that shoulder needs to be down. The shoulder comes up, it won't stretch. Right? If you hold too close to your elbow, you don't feel the stretch as much as you do if you hold down by your wrist. So like this. Okay. And then release, shake them out a little bit, and we'll switch sides. So take the left hand to the right wrist, push that right shoulder down, and then pull the right arm across. But don't let the shoulder hike up towards your ear. Right, and pull it across. Good. All right, and then release. And roll them out again. And then we're going to go back to the chair. We're going to stand behind it. Right, just a little ways behind it. Pick a leg, cross one leg in front of the other. Make sure your feet are side by side and not heel toe. And we're going to push the hips back. So you want to be close enough to the chair that you could almost rest your forehead on it if you wanted to. Right, so we're pushing back. And I feel this in the leg that's behind much more than the one in front. And breathe and think happy thoughts. We're almost done. Really try to push back, feel it maybe even a little more. And abs in tight and inhale and lift up. And let's switch legs. Right, try to make sure your feet are more side by side than heel toe. And push back. Make sure you're kind of pushing down into the chair back and not pulling it back. So you're not going to pull the chair over and lose your balance. And breathe. Good, and abs are in tight, and inhale up, very good, and have a seat on the chair. Come out toward the front edge of the chair. 2 more stretches, and then we're done, right? So let's start with the, left leg, right? So left ankle over the right knee, right? And hands go just above the left knee, and we're going to gently push down. Remember, you can extend the right leg if you need to, or put the ankle just below the right knee if you need to. Try to make sure that that right leg is straight out in front of the hip. It's not dropped into the left. And sit up as tall as you can. Try not to lean back. Good, and again, just a few more seconds. Good, and release them. We're going to switch sides, right? So make sure that left knee is in front of the left hip. Right ankle over the left knee. Extend the left leg if you need to. Put the ankle below the knee if you need to. And gently push down. Now this one's tighter for me than the other one. Right, so sit up as tall as you can. Try not to lean back because that takes away from the stretch. Heaven forbid we do that. Try to breathe and relax. Just a few more seconds. Good, and release. Let's scoot over to the left side of the chair. Try to stay out toward the front edge of the chair. Left side of the tush comes off the chair, right side stays on. Lower the left knee down and lift up as tall as you can. Right, if you can push back a little bit, great. But remember, the whole upper body needs to go back and not just the shoulders. So you really feel more stretch in the front of the hip and the front of the leg, and not just tightening in the low back. I know 30 seconds seems like an eternity sometimes. Good job. And sit up, bring that foot forward. Let's scoot over to the other side. Hold on, lower that knee down. Lift up as tall as you can. Breathe. See if you can push back maybe a tiny bit. Get a little more stretch. Good job. All right, and slowly bring that foot forward and stand up and take a big, tall stretch. Good, and lower your arms back down, maybe one big shoulder roll to the back, and then we're all done. Great job, everyone. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Pleasure to see everyone.